Brad Jackson here. I'm super excited to show you something that we've been working on for about 8 months. This pedal called the Broken Arrow is our first proper overdrive pedal that we've ever made. We've heard from a lot of people that they will use our Prism pedal as an overdrive, and it works great for overdriving the front end of an amp. But this is our first circuit we've ever done that is a top to bottom clipping overdrive, like a kind of along the lines of a soft clipping overdrive circuit. We've got some really great features in here that I've never seen in any pedal anywhere, so I'm super excited to give you a quick 5-minute walkthrough of what the Broken Arrow can do for you. Okay, so let's get into some of the features of the Broken Arrow. Like I said earlier, the Broken Arrow is a soft clipping overdrive, so it's somewhere in the family of like a Timmy, a Tube Screamer, that kind of vibe. So what we have here for the drive circuit is volume, gain, and bass, middle, and treble. And the EQ here is an active EQ, so we have a positive 12 dB and a minus 12 dB cut and boost for each frequency respectively. One of the cool things we did here is, like, we have 4 different types of clipping diodes available to us, and that by itself is not really novel. There's a lot of guys that put clipping circuits and switches and stuff in overdrives. That's a great sound, but one thing we did is we made it all programmable and presettable so that you press and hold on the drive foot switch and it puts you into the programming mode for your clipping diodes. So the first one here is flashing green. If it's flashing green, it tells you that you're in that programming mode. The green one here is the clipping diodes that you would find in a Tube Screamer, 2 silicone diodes that are symmetrical. Very compressed, but a very familiar sound to you. Press the drive switch when you're in programming mode and it will cycle through the remaining clipping options. So press it one time, go into the magenta mode. That's actually 3 silicone diodes asymmetric clipping. So it's great for rhythm sounds and that kind of stuff, but adds a really interesting dimension to your overdrive sound. The third one, go to blue mode, and that is going to be 4 silicone diodes that are symmetrical like you'd find in a Timmy. The fourth one might be my favorite one. It's amber, and it is 2 LEDs symmetrical. So your clipping diodes are actually LEDs in this circuit, so it has a very open and uncompressed sound, which I think is akin to like a vintage Marshall, hence the amber LED, which kind of reminds me of the indicator light on an old vintage Marshall. So we'll go back, hit it one more time, and you notice we go back to the green. So as you press the drive foot switch, it'll cycle through 4 options. When you find an option that you want, press and hold again, and it will store that clipping diode as your current setting. And it's important to note that when you reboot the pedal, it will remember that setting and boot up to where you last left it off, because we actually write that value to the internal memory slot on the microprocessor. Okay, probably the feature I'm most excited about is a new feature for us called gain cycle. So in this situation, let's just put the gain knob at 12 o'clock. That's maximum gain. When I press both foot switches together to gain cycle, watch the LED. See how it just dimmed down? What that just did is now we're at 25% of whatever the gain knob is set to. Press it again. Now we're at 50%. The LED just got brighter. One more time. We're at 75% gain, again, of wherever the gain knob is set. And finally, press again, and there's full gain. So my thinking is this: if you're starting off a song in verse 1, say you're here at a kind of a transparent overdrive sound, you can press, say for the chorus, bump up the gain a little bit. For the bridge, bump it up again. For taking a solo, hit it again, you're full gain. Again, it's important to remember this is all a percentage of wherever the gain knob is set. So if you set your gain knob to 12 o'clock, that's your maximum gain. So now you'd be at 25% of that, 50% of that, 75%, and finally full gain of wherever that control is set. One of the cool things about this, one of my guys told me about when he was using it live, and I never thought about it when I was designing this, but say you're in the lowest setting here. What you can do is, if you run your gain, if you run this at 25%, what it kind of does is spreads out the gain from 0 to 25% over a very long range. So you can really dial in the amount of gain you want. So it kind of expands the range of your gain control. So that's kind of a quick view on the overdrive circuit. Let's move over to the boost. The boost for the Broken Arrow is a MOSFET boost. It's the same kind of boost that we have in the amp mode of the Prism. And from talking to people, the amp mode of the Prism is their favorite mode. So we took that user feedback and we ran with it. So It's also the same type of boost circuit that you'll find in the Bloom compressor of ours. So your gain knob is here for the boost, and it's a super loud, aggressive boost. It'll just pound the front of your amp, but it's placed in front of the overdrive circuit here. So if you have the boost on and the drive, the boost is boosting the drive to give you even more gain than you'd have with just the drive alone. Okay, there's one cool feature that we're going to talk about the boost. If you press and hold the boost control, just like you do on the drive control, we give you 4 EQ settings. When the pedal boots up by default, it's in position 3, because that to me is probably the best, most useful of all the EQs for the boost. If you press the boost knob when you're in the boost programming mode, that goes to setting 4. It's a full range boost, absolutely no attenuation at all. It is everything your guitar has to offer, and it just gives you the same thing but a whole lot louder. If you cycle to preset 1, which is yellow, it's super bright, almost a treble booster kind of a vibe. And I picked the color yellow because I wanted people to know that, yeah, this is a really bright kind of a sound. But it's really, really an effective sound if you're trying to do like an 80s kind of a aggressive hard rock sound. Like if you take a thin boost and put it in front of like a tube screamer kind of vibe, it'll make your drive stand out almost like you have a treble booster on it or a mid boost. It just sticks out really well. So setting number 2 of the boost is a little bit fatter sounding. Setting 3 is fatter still, and setting 4 is again full range boost. So that really is a quick overview of the Broken Arrow, some of the new features, as well as how to navigate those new features. So hope you enjoy it. Let us know what you think. And thanks again for everything, guys. Appreciate you.